We're back. We're talking now with Colin Berg, Oklahoma Department of Wildlife. Colin is here. Welcome. And you're here at the same time as our Charlie Brown Christmas tree.
Well, that's a joy to be here with the Charlie Brown
something?
Christmas tree. That brings back old memories.
We spare no expense. How you doing, lad?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Haven't changed at all.
Yeah. Got a lot of hunting activity going on. We'll get to that in just a minute.
Yep.
How's trout fishing?
Trout fishing is good. We've now started stocking all of our wintertime trout areas so folks can kind of plan a trip around the state and hit all those different locations. You know, we got the Lower Illinois and Mountain Fork River that we stock year round, but this time of year we start stocking Blue River down by Tishomingo. We start stocking over at Quartz Mountain. We have an area over there. We've got, Lawton area is an awesome little creek there, Medicine Creek, that runs through Medicine Park. We've got a spot over by Romanos Park that we stock as well, and then out in the Panhandle. And then we also started stocking, we've got a couple locations in urban areas. We've got Perry City Lake is stocked, and then we've got a pond in Jinx that we stock. This was the first week that it started being stocked with trout. And then Oklahoma City, DeLisi Park is actually stocked as well. So there's lots of locations this time of year where people can go, take their family, have good luck catching trout. They're stocked on a pretty annual basis here over the next several months, those wintertime areas. So, you know, it's a fun activity to do. The beautiful weather that we've been having, it's conducive to getting out and sitting on the shore and enjoying it.
Two things I got to ask you about first. First of all, you said there's a pond in Jinx.
Mm-hmm. Veterans Park Pond. It's on the north side of the Creek Turnpike, in between where you get off to go downtown Main Street, and if you were going to the aquarium. And
Veterans Park. I remember that.
Yep.
I'll hit that a lick.
Nice little park.
And you also mentioned the Lower Illinois. Now, right now, the Lower Illinois is at flood stage.
Yeah. It'll go down pretty quick as long as we don't get any more big rains.
But that's
again.
like the 16th or 17th time since the first of the year.
Yeah, it's been, we were talking about it before the segment, that you go back almost a little over a year ago in October is when we started getting lots of rain, and it's rained for 14 months.
Well, the question here is, do they still stock?
Yeah, we still stock at different times. We try to make it, conducive to the flows there, so they don't all get flushed down. But we're still involved with stocking in that area as well. The big thing that I want to encourage folks to do, I know you love to trout fish, you and your wife like to trout fish, is whether it's trout fishing or duck hunting that we're going to talk about here in a little bit, or deer hunting, take somebody along with you that hasn't ever gone before or has expressed interest. Maybe they've fished before. Introduce them back to the outdoors. We got a lot of folks that...
Well, we've got something going on, and you mentioned this to me before we came out here. There aren't as many people involved in fishing and hunting as once before. Am I right on that?
Oklahoma, we're pretty static, but we're also seeing what other states are seeing, which is in our surveys, we're starting to get the response that I'm not participating. I've got a license, but I didn't fish or I didn't hunt this year because I physically wasn't able to. And that means we've got a big number of our population that enjoyed hunting and fishing that's starting to age out. Baby boomer era was a very strong group that really took hold of hunting and fishing opportunities, and they still participate to date, but a lot of those folks are reaching the age where they're just not able to go. Either their buddies that they grew up fishing with have moved away, retired somewhere else, or they don't have somebody that they can go with that's locally. They miss their kids are moving. And so I just encourage, anytime I talk about getting outdoors and enjoying the things that I enjoy doing, I encourage folks to take somebody else with them.
Would that indicate then that the younger ones are not taking the interest that the boomers did?
Yep, they didn't take the interest. It's not that it's not there. It's just that in a lot of cases, their parents moved away from where they grew up hunting and fishing.
Yeah.
And when you do that, it puts distance in between you and where you traditionally did those activities. And so if you're not an extremely diehard person, you're liable to lapse, what we call a lapsed angler. Even if they've got a license, they may lapse because they're no longer in their environment that they feel, that they know. So it's starting to fade away in a lot of age categories. 40 and under age categories, we don't have near as many people participating.
Are we going to have bad Bassmasters this time around?
Doesn't look like it from
That really
what's come out in the paper.
That's a kick in the shins, you know what?
Yep, we would love to host that. That's a big boom for economics as far as for the state. People travel all over the country to come here to do that, And same thing right now with our waterfowl seasons are going on. We're in this what we call the split right now, but it'll open back up and give people another part of the season here to hunt waterfowl. But we've become known from a lot of other states, people traveling to Oklahoma to waterfowl hunt as well. It's a great opportunity. My son actually, who's getting ready to be 16 in January, it's his favorite activity in the outdoors right now is waterfowl hunting. And it gets back to him and his buddies that he hunts with, that's social. When we grew up hunting and fishing, it was more of a social atmosphere than it was success. In a lot of cases for deer hunting, there just wasn't as many deer. But that's what waterfowl hunting is that's why it is one of the areas that we see growing as far as participation is waterfowl hunting in Oklahoma. And I think it's because you don't have to be quiet. You can sit there and talk.
Sure.
There can be several people in the blind together. It's not measured on, harvesting ducks is great, but when you're sitting there having fun and enjoying and ribbing each other if you miss a shot or whatever, that's what it was about.
I remember very clearly my first duck hunt. My dad and my granddad and myself.
Yep.
I mean, what a time that was.
Yep.
And I didn't realize it until a little while later. And I thought back about it, and I thought, you know what? That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
To have both those men sharing experiences with me, teaching me how, and I got lucky.
Exactly, and that's missing in a lot of cases because of what I talked about as far as people moving from where they grew up. No longer do you get to see your granddad or grandmother, and all the 3 generations get together over Christmas or Thanksgiving, but otherwise it's not a daily deal where you grow up where your grandparents are from, and so you get to have that experience. And I encourage folks to do that. Again, whether it's, coming up the holidays, we've got a antlerless season, special antlerless season with rifle that is 9-day season that's right over Christmas break that you can go hunting with your family. Waterfowl season we will open back up. Archery season is still going on. It's not as conducive to hunting with a partner as hunting with a rifle is or waterfowl hunting is, but it is our longest season. It runs from October 1st through January 15th. So there's lots of opportunities for bow hunters. I love bow hunting myself. That's what I would prefer to always do over gun hunting. I just love the experience of being in the outdoors. I've taken that time to pass it on to my son. But like I said, now he's at the point where he wants to spend time with his buddies. Dad's not as cool as I used to be when he was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old.
Things change, don't they?
Yeah, and that's the thing that I've realized too is I've got to give him the opportunity to have the same experiences that I had, which was hunting and fishing with my buddies, my peers.
A couple of weeks ago, just before Thanksgiving, I came up the hill to RSU and made the turn to head to the studio, and the headlights, I came in pretty early that morning, the headlights picked up, it just stood there looking at me, a beautiful doe.
Yeah.
And I stopped, and it looked at me, looked around like, what is this guy? What is it? What's this about? And then just gently walked away, crossed the road, and stopped and looked back at me like, thank you. And I drove by, and it watched me drive by, and I thought, how cool is this? We get a chance to see things in this state that we should look for.
Right.
They're out there. All you have to do is open your eyes.
Yeah.
You have to listen.
Yeah.
And learn. And it's a shame people aren't taking advantage.
Yeah, and that's the thing, the tradition, the lost aspect of passing it on from generation to generation that saddens me from the standpoint of I thrived on that from as being able to participate with family members in the outdoors. And it's one of those things that hopefully the tradition continues on, and hopefully folks will realize that, you know, harvesting a big buck, it's not what it's all about. It's about spending time with your families and friends in the outdoors.
Colin, we got about a minute. In our remaining time, it's going to be a while until we see you again. What would you say to encourage younger ones to get involved? How would you urge them to take advantage of it?
I would encourage them to do what I did, which is if you've got that interest, continue to ask that person that you know that does something in the outdoors, whether it's fishing or hunting, it's your next door neighbor, your dad, granddad, keep asking them to go. Because if you don't ask, in a lot of cases, you're not getting asked. So take the advantage of it and say, I've got a next door neighbor that hunts, I'm going to be at his porch and ask him to go.
And if you don't, you're missing a lot of
That's
knowledge.
right.
Hey, thank you.
You bet.
Appreciate you. That's all the time we have for this edition of Perspectives. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.